banter. Balls and banter. No excuses, just win, win, win with your balls and banter. We got balls, we got pucks, we got sticks, we got everything in between. We got balls and banter.
I love it. Tom jumping in, getting into the song.
Yes. I just want to dance when I hear that song.
I was off camera dancing by the door.
We were just sitting there like, yeah.
People still are like, this is such a weird song. It's like, yeah, but like, be honest. You sing it walking around your house sometimes, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
It happens. It's very John Rambo jacket today there, Tom.
Yes, in honor of Bo Greitz. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very controversial figure, but he was a badass in Nam.
Yeah. I mean, that's what inspired the Rambo movies. So,
hey, I guess we all survived the blood moon at 3:33 a.m.
I thought it was the pink moon.
I think it was supposed to be blood moon.
Yeah, it was blood moon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got to think it said it was the pink moon.
Well, around these parts, it was a no moon because it was too low and there was
you
cloud
couldn't
cover,
see it. Yeah.
Anyway, so.
I think that if you got a notification for a pink moon, I would check your subscription to something.
No, maybe the pink moon's in May or something. But yeah, there's so many moons that are happening at the beginning of this year. There was a wolf moon like 3 weeks ago. Don't know what that means, but it was a wolf moon.
Poor wolf is just stranded up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Florida, Purdue, Southern Cal, USC all open spring ball today. It's just spring practice, folks, but it's better than nothing. We got some buzz happening in college football. That's happening. Lots of programs getting close. They're on the doorstep of getting into spring football. Lots about college football that we're going to kind of get into as we weave in and out of some stories today. Make sure, as I always tell you, to go check out airitoutbro.com. It is a new site that we are proud to be running and getting some sports and entertainment news out there. More and more content coming up all the time. You can also see clips of the show and episodes of the show over there. You can listen to the podcasts. You can do it all there. So go check it out, airitoutbro.com. You can see it there on your screen. Make sure that you're following that and doing all those positive things. Make sure that you also hit that like button as you come in. Sometimes you come in, whatever chat you're in, and you forget to do it because you get involved in the show, you get involved in the conversations you're hopefully having in the great community that's out there. But please do hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the show, subscribe to whichever channel or platform you are on. And with that, let's get into things. I'm telling you, I don't know. Like I didn't say it, but I kind of felt like this was going to happen. But Tyler Reddick
is at it again.
He did it again. I mean, son of a bitch, excuse me, did it again in Austin this weekend. Sets a record. Reminder, he won the Daytona 500 to start the season. He won the Auto Trader 400 in Atlanta last week. And you're like, okay, like, clearly this is weird. No one wins 3 in a row. And then you go to a road course and you're like, okay, well, we're not talking just an oval here. We're not just making all left turns. We're on this crazy road course in Austin, the Circuit of the Americas, and he goes out and he does it again. There's some imagery of the 45 car. Michael Jordan gets a everyone's, using that same verbiage and terminology, gets a three-peat like he so famously did. But, I mean, this is pretty crazy. I mean, in this era, the first person to start the season winning all 3 in a row. Now, is he going to win every damn race the whole year? Well, at this point, I don't know anymore. But he's off to a really good start. And if you're Michael Jordan, and if you're his teammates, Denny Hamlin's kind of the main person behind the team. Jordan obviously put the money into it. You're pretty happy right now. I think they're having nice dinners, is my sense.
Yes, they are having nice dinners. And finally, Jordan's team got a driver that can win after struggling all the years with Bubba Wallace and all the baggage that he brings along with him. where, you've got Tyler, who is an actual race car driver who's got the chops to be able to win. It is a bit strange that they come out of the gate, with 3 wins on the heels of Michael Jordan being embroiled in a lawsuit with NASCAR. I'm not saying that there's anything up. I'm just enjoying the victories. But I think it's good for NASCAR because, as we've seen over the years, there's been a steady decline in the fan base of NASCAR. And I think that, any publicity is good publicity. And plus, Michael Jordan is one of these transcendent figures that everybody can rally around and is really interested in what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because we don't get to see that much of him. And for him to sort of be like the face of the owners for NASCAR, I think it's going to help with viewership.
I think so too. Well, and it's just, with them over the year, it's not a new thing, but adding in the tracks like we had in Austin this weekend, it's just a shakeup, and it's fun. Like, this was a fun race to watch. I made a really nice dip for this.
Ooh, what kind of
race.
dip was it?
It was kind of like I took like a spinach dip concept, but I wanted to work in, I think, one of the most famous but yet underrated cheeses ever. So I worked in, I went to the store and I bought Gruyere. I bought fresh jalapenos, some spinach, some other stuff. I forget. Some mushrooms, some portobello mushroom. I worked in all this stuff and made it into this delightful little treat. It's like, I want to have, and you know what's interesting? I was thinking about it because I wanted to feel like it was a fun afternoon. And I was like, I want something that pairs well with an afternoon white wine. So I made this Gruyere-based veggie dip, and it was delicious, and it paired very nicely with the white wine. And then I'm sitting there eating it, I'm thinking, like, I'm watching NASCAR.
Eating a spinach artichoke dip.
It's like I should be eating hot dogs and baked beans right now, but I was highfalutin. We were highfalutin NASCAR fans this weekend.
Well, to go back on his, win-win-win, I've met and know personally a lot of the officials that sit in the truck, the Freightliners, and they watch every racer. They go and inspect every engine, all that stuff. The last 2 weeks they've been under a fine tooth. Definitely this week they are getting they're looking at every bolt, every single thing, make sure there's nothing going on. They take it very seriously. There's nothing different with the car. Everyone has the same thing. Also, they're going to be like, all right, bring him into the tent. And it's really cool. I don't know if you've ever seen it. They'll push the car in, and then they close the doors, and then however long it takes them to inspect the car, that's how long it takes. And they open up, and they say you either passed it or failed it, and then you got to fix it.
Well, I tell you what, you win next week and/or the week following, there's going to be a lot of scrutiny because it's like, I don't know, and I'm not suggesting any foul play whatsoever. I'm happy for MJ. Yeah. Again, I was talking about this with Tom yesterday. I'm thrilled that allegedly he created Anthony Edwards, and now he plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Out of wedlock or not, like it's helping our team.
He went on a podcast and said, "Man, it was the NBA in the '90s. We were doing a lot of things." And he doesn't say that it's not
right.
So,
and there's poor Anthony Edwards' actual biological father, if he really has one that's out there, and has said as much as like, how am I supposed to compete with Michael Jordan?
But what if his name is Michael Jordan? Like, what if he just so happens to be someone named Michael
What does
Jordan?
that say about his mom?
Right. Can we stop talking about this? Yeah, I don't know. But I think you're right, Tom. I think it's good for NASCAR. I think it's a fun story to start the season, have something like this happen that's never happened, back-to-back-to-back wins. You got MJ in the mix. It's exciting times.
If we go 4 in a row, I think it'd be time for you to put on that tinfoil hat.
Possibly.
Or
possibly.
What if someone first lap of next race decides to wreck his car? You know what I mean? Like, you're taking him out regardless of what it is. I would still put my tinfoil hat on them. Like, okay, something's going on. They just needed to stop this from happening.
Or what if someone takes him out, he somehow still wins the race without a car.
The whole field gets out, and
Chariots of Fire music.
Hey,
running across.
I'm going Carson Hocevar for this NASCAR season. He's my driver.
Okay. Well, so far, I mean, you've chosen wrong because Tyler Reddick's won all 3
It's the
races.
one going, yeah.
But
The season is long.
it is long.
Trust me.
It is long, and it
Carson
is young.
Hocevar.
Okay.
Everybody mortgage your houses now.
Okay, let me get on and make a bet here.
Don't do it.
Hey Siri, bet my house on Carson Hocevar. Anyways, congrats to Tyler. On all accounts, it seems like he is a great driver. Seems like he's got an adorable little family. It was fun watching them celebrate last night. That was a cool moment. You know, to be a kid, man, and have your dad be an elite race car driver is one thing. He's obviously won in seasons past. He's won at the Circuit of Americas before. I think that's the first time he's won a second time at a track in his career. But he's obviously had some success. But to have your dad, like, what's your dad do? He's a NASCAR driver. Oh, is he the one who just won the first 3 races of it? Yes. And then he's getting to stand on top of the car and celebrate. Like, really, really cool. Not reality in the sense of, like, you still got to go and be your own person and grow up and do all the right things. It doesn't mean that you get that success. Doesn't work that way. But I think it's a really neat thing and fun to see. Thursday, we're going to talk more about this Thursday, but on Friday, President Trump going to host a roundtable at the White House for college sports. And really, pretty specifically, there is as he has alluded to, there is an element that will focus, parts of the conversation on women's gymnastics and some of these more Olympic sports and female sports and just the non-money making sports. But of course, the driving force will be football and basketball, NIL, transfer portal, all of that. And I think, if there has ever been a meeting that I want to sit in on,
Looking at the guest list, I'm surprised you're not going, why didn't I get invited?
I mean, you can check it out on Air It Out Bro. You've got Tony Petitti from the Big Ten. You got Greg Sankey, the commissioner from the SEC. You've got folks from, I'm just pulling up the list from the article on there. Tim Tebow's going to be there. Nick Saban's going to be there. You've got the Big 12 and ACC commissioners as well.
I think Tiger Woods is going to be there.
Tiger Woods, Bryson DeChambeau. You've got Adam Silver. I know Tom loves that one. You've got Jonathan Kraft from the Patriots, Urban Meyer, Mac Brown, which I think Mac Brown, like, if there's 2 people that would be on my short list to call for wisdom who, like, care about the kids and care about the sport, it would be first Nick Saban, and Mac Brown's pretty high on my list. But Tim Tebow, Charlie Ward, Florida State standout, Heisman Trophy winner from back in the day. Lots of people, lots of chancellors. ESPN and Fox Sports both going to be there, which is going to be interesting. I don't know how actually anything gets done because of some of the competing lines that are going to be there. But
has anyone declined going to the meeting that you know of?
I don't know.
I just was wondering, because the women's hockey, USA said, no, we're not going, so I just wasn't sure.
I'm sure there's some, and I'm sure there's people who can't go, but
you know who's missing on that? Well, first of all, Adam Silver has no business being on that list. Adam Silver has no business being anywhere there should be a restraining order against Adam Silver going into any sports venue or discussing sports. I think that, I don't know if he's on there, but I think Dana White should be on there. And I also think he's a bit controversial right now with everything that's going on. But when it comes to sports entertainment, nobody is better than Vince McMahon. I think he should be in there as well.
Yeah.
No, when it comes to somebody, who has come up with a brand and has dominated their brand, just like Dana White, and being able to, continuously produce a steady revenue stream like those 2 franchises have done.
Well, Vince's not there anymore.
Yeah, but he built it.
Right, he did. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and the Trumps are close with the McMahons. Obviously, Linda, who was part of WWE for a long time, has gone on and served in a number of roles. So, yeah, I think so. I would be – I actually – and maybe he is, maybe he's not. I'd be kind of shocked if Dana White's not there. Dana White is besties with Trump. very involved in the sports world, very involved in finances, gets the economics of things, gets a lot of it. Is he the end-all be-all for college sports and college football? No, but like I would be kind of shocked if he wasn't there. But you I think Tony Dungy, some have suggested he was going to be involved. I don't know if he's going to be there or not. That's a guy you obviously want there. Just a great Christian man, leader, influencer. But I don't know what comes of this meeting, but this meeting, like there has to be a starting, like anything, there has to be a starting point to get things fixed and going on the right track. I think you're going to struggle in this particular one because you've got the SEC and the Big Ten who have competing goals and interests. They're aligned on most things, and they are the two power conferences, and Sankey and Petiti talk on a bunch of issues and actually are aligned on a lot of issues, just not all of them. But you've got that, and then you've got ESPN and Fox definitely competing. So, how this shakes out, there's a lot of people who are in that meeting. Tim Tebow, maybe one of the most amazing humans on the planet. He'll have a level head and be objective and smart and offer sage advice, I believe, in this case. I don't see how Fox Sports and ESPN approach it with the attitude of like, what do we do for the kids? Like that's not where they're coming from. And that, to be clear and to be fair to them, that's not their job. Like their job is not about how do we protect the kids and protect the sport. Their job is how do we make our board of investors in our company a shit ton of money.
Yeah, how do we protect the rights of these sports?
Yeah.
Well, and also, too, I think even more than that, I think with the Tony Dungys and the Tim Tebows of the world, that's great. And then, offset that with, the representative from Fox and ESPN. But who's representing the fan? I think that there should be somebody in the sports media that's not a jock sniffer who needs to be there. If Stephen A. Smith is there, I'm going to discount the whole roundtable discussion. But I do think somebody who is an actual reporter, journalist in sports.
Rich Eisen. I want Rich Eisen there.
Needs to be there to represent the fan, because in all of this, the fan is the one who ultimately gets screwed all the time.
I think that would be my choice. I think I'm going Rich Eisen as choice 1, maybe Dan Patrick choice 2. If we're saying that. Rich Eisen 1 because I think he's great. He's funny. He's smart. He's witty. He's a Michigan guy. Clearly smarter than the rest. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't think that – we'll talk about it again Thursday as more details evolve leading up to the big roundtable. Also, by the way, there's a lot going on in the world right now, so who knows if this roundtable actually happens on Friday. I think it still will. But obviously we've started a war with Iran, and there's a whole lot going on in the world. So the president's time is there's a lot of competing things for the president's time.
Right, but when it comes to sports, I don't think there's much other than making money in architecture and like design and golf. There's nothing that the president likes more than sports. And what we've seen in the past and what I've sort of gleaned from him is Trump likes people who are the best in whatever they do. He really, really enjoys that, and especially when it comes to athletic competition. So it would have to be something, I think, monumental to have this roundtable take a back seat.
Yeah, I know. I think so too. And look, the president makes these decisions. He's the commander in chief, but the president's not having to do all the stuff that, Secretary of War, Hegseth is doing right now, and commanders in CENTCOM and NORTHCOM on the home defense side of things. Like he can make it happen. And you're right. Like I'm sure he's very eager to have this meeting and has told his staff, don't you change this for anything. So, by the way,
the next thing we know, Marco Rubio's in charge of college football.
it's not entirely off the board. And he's a big Gators fan. He's a big college sports fan. I don't know. I mean, he's done some good stuff since he came in. Maybe he's the guy. Like if Miss Terry is telling Nick Saban, you can't do it, honey, you're staying retired and just doing college game day, then I mean, maybe the next guy on the list is him. I don't know. Like
The next hat that he's going to wear.
let's not rule anything out at this point in time. Man, the memes for Thursday, by the way, with the war kicking off, and there is some crossover between sports and that. The memes are good Thursday. Just make sure that you come Thursday. I'm excited about them. Let's take a quick break. We're going to stay kind of with college football because these guys are meeting. President Trump is meeting with the Tebows, the Sabins, all these folks of the world Friday to try and fix this thing. And we have said, and I stand by it, we have to fix this thing. But it's going to be a process. The story that we're going to talk about next when we come back is proof positive that we've got some rules and some barriers and guardrails that have to get put into place, and they have to do it soon because, man, things are changing fast. Tell you about it on the other side.
Are you sick of staring down food that you want to eat, knowing deep down you shouldn't? Or how about being sick of your neighbor Gary, looking fit and trim as he waves to you at the fence line? There's a better way to live, and it takes only a minimal amount of discipline. Introducing No Fuss to Give. No Fuss to Give does not actually alter any hormones or chemical balances in your body. No. This little pill just gives you the courage to let loose and let live. So drop the worries of health and social judgment. Undo your belt and live a little with No Fuss to Give. 97% of participants in a No Fuss to Give trial gained significant weight and added serious health complications to their lives. However, other data suggests they felt great about drowning their sorrows in highly saturated fats, decadent desserts, and gluten and dairy rage sessions. This product is not approved by the FDA or any medical body. No Fuss to Give cannot guarantee success or a long, sustaining life for those who take it. But there's a chance it may work about as well as any other bullshit pharmaceutical product you see on your screen. So give it a try and give us your cash. No Fuss to Give. No Fuss to Give. Bullshit pharmaceutical products.
All right, let's continue talking college sports because we just spoke about how President Trump and 35 individuals, I think is the count, are going to be meeting at the White House Friday to try and fix this thing, the wild, wild west that is college sports and specifically and more particularly college football.
I just real quick, I just noticed one name on the list that I'm not enthused about, and that's Condoleezza Rice.
Oh, yeah, Condi Rice is going to be there. But that doesn't surprise me, though, right? Like, at one point, her name was floated to be the NFL commissioner. She's a big football person. She loves it. She's a big DC person. She's a power player in that world. So it doesn't surprise me that she's there.
What if she's named the commissioner?
I don't know. Look. At the end of the day, I'm pretty agnostic on who it is as long as I get what I want. So if I can talk to whoever these people
But we know that's not going to happen, though.
No, you know what? I've got faith in you, Drew. I think it'll work. You know people there. You know people in D.C.
I don't. Not enough. I wish that I could be. I would love to be a board member. I don't want to run the thing. No one wants me to run the thing. Josh Pate wants to run it from On3. I think Josh actually I think he would do well. But I would just like to be a board member. I would like to have a voice at the table and get maybe not paid, but at least fed to talk about college sports and
travel and food. Yeah.
I think you should manifest this. And I think that we need to start by having a press conference at the studio, bring in all the local media from the Jacksonville area and announce that you are very much aware of what's going on and your calendar's free to take on this new responsibility. And it would be your honor and to help out the United States in this time of need when we do need more bread and circuses to head this up.
Okay, let's make it happen.
See, here's the thing. Don't joke with Tom. Next thing we know, he's not going to be here, but we're going to have reporters at our door being like, we're here for the press conference.
If they're going to be reported, I will be there. I will usher everybody in. We'll have, a warm-up comedian there. I'll MC the thing. It'll be fantastic.
The more you talk about it, the more I'm kind of like, I think we do it. But if nothing else, we get some great press out of it.
But then do you pull a Fetterman and wear shorts, flip-flops, and a T-shirt, or are you going to dress up for it?
No, if I'm running this committee, I'm going to look freaking nice.
What about a board member, too? As a
board member. Yeah. Either way, I'll look nice.
Okay. Tom, let's make it happen. Let's just tell Drew to show up at a certain date.
All you have to do is tell me when.
Okay.
Remember when we launched the studio and I wanted to have a press conference and I was going to tell the media that we were going to invite Kim Jong-un to attend? That's the type of promotion I am into.
My favorite thing is after the fact of a film event or something, there was some kind of thing going on. We get a thing in the mail like, what's this? Oh, these are the tickets to the thing we were supposed to go to like a month ago. And Tom's like, oh yeah, we were supposed to go because I guess our name was there, like we had our logo there or something. Remember that?
Yeah, it was the
So
Palm Beach Film.
We missed
Palm
it.
Beach, the Jacksonville Film Commission.
Yeah.
We've missed a lot of things if we're being honest. We can do better in 2026.
Yes, we can.
Can do better.
But again, there wasn't the opportunity for us to get up and speak and hold a press conference. It was just we had the logo up, as somebody who donated money. So, I mean, that's great and all, but you want to be up there with all the cameras looking at you and say, okay, this is what we have going on. Drew Berquist has magnanimously volunteered his time to head up college football in the United States.
Mr. Berquist, what will be your first act as commissioner?
I'll be hiring Sydney Sweeney to be my assistant, and then we'll get down to business.
Everyone will really take you seriously then.
They will when I make her like press secretary for the. So more reason as to why we need all of this. And again, I will happily take the job. You don't even need to pay me. Just cover my travel.
He needs to get paid. So let's
please do pay me. Yeah. But so everyone's trying to do you've got Texas Tech, right, who leans all the way in with oil money and just is spraying black stuff all over people to get them in, and they rise, and they had a great year. No taken away from what they did on the field. I think Coach McGuire, great coach. They're doing it right. And in the era that we live in, they're doing it right. So they've done that. You had the year prior, SMU dump a ton of money into growing their program. They're still doing that. You have Larry Ellison and his sweet little thing, making things great for us in Michigan with
the
that
man
money.
Who's always sweating and really into dark stuff.
Again, if you pour money into the maize and blue, it's okay. Don't murder, rape, or kill, and we're good.
What's wrong with his skin?
I don't know. I'm not picking on the guy because he gives the school money. So I have my questions too, but we're not going to do it on air. But you've got all these people, right? And Memphis has got FedEx money. You've got that's the world that we live in. So now that a lot of people have stepped up and someone's like, okay, hey, cool. I'm a wealthy alumnus from XYZ school, and I'm going to help make sure that UNLV or Wyoming is the next great power. Well, Mississippi just said, hold my beer. Because they're literally passing. I mean, here you can see this is one of several messages about it or tweets out there about it that you can see. But they're proposing to pass a bill that makes NIL money in the state of Mississippi tax exempt. To make it more enticing to go play at one of two SEC schools. Obviously, there's a couple others. There's Southern Miss. There's some other group of 5 schools in the state as well. But Ole Miss and Mississippi State could be like, hey, here's the deal, buddy. We're going to give you $1 million, and that $1 million shall not be taxed. And in fairness, like, you got to live in Mississippi, so maybe you do need some things like that to entice. But like that's a big deal, like, right? That's a big deal. You get a $1 million offer to play quarterback, for example, at Ole Miss, and you also get a $1 million offer, it could even be more, to play quarterback at UCLA. That net figure that you're talking about, if this were to pass, first of all, it would look very different in the first place already because California's California. But that net figure looks totally different. Totally different. So were this to pass in Mississippi, I think it's, for the record, I think it's absolutely insane. I also think it's deviously genius because it's like, that's literally what's happening is who can spend more and who can do more to get more kids, better talent on your roster to win now, to make your name and your program better, which then, brings along additional recruits, attention, all notoriety, all of that stuff. So when there's no rules in place like there is right now, which is why this meeting's happening Friday, while I think this is wrong, I'm also like, why wouldn't you do it? Like, why wouldn't you try and do this and like just totally change the game?
I'm all for it. Anything to eliminate income tax, I'm all for. And I think this is a genius idea. Like you said, genius, but devious as well, because we're talking about Mississippi, and there are other states in the same boat as Mississippi where, Ole Miss football is the only game in town. So you may as well pull out all the stops to make it enticing to go to Oxford.
Yeah.
Oxford isn't that bad of a place. No matter where you go, if you have $1 million tax free, you can live however you want, and you're going to live one of the greatest lives ever. You could live in Liberia for $1 million and still live a great life.
Well, think of it. If you're Nebraska, who's a blue blood program, who's not been what they used to be, right? This is not 95 Nebraska. This is not Osborne's Nebraska, or even Frank Solich, who, guys, I mean, you kind of screwed the pooch there. Osborne retires. Frank Solich goes 9-3 a couple times. And you're like, you should be murdered.
You suck.
Well, you killed your program by moving on from that. But at any rate, that's a different discussion for a different time. Lincoln, Nebraska, despite the fact that the Cornhuskers are legendary, their sellouts are never ending. It's all they've got in that state. It's not the most desirable place to go. If you're a kid playing here locally, there's outstanding football in Jacksonville, Florida. Some of the best in the country. You're not longing, unless your family grew up in the Midwest like I did. Like, for me, that's enticing. But, Lamar down the street, or Justin, it doesn't matter their race, creed, or background. They're not like, yeah, Lincoln's the place.
Lamar.
I don't know. I'm just saying. But if it's like all of a sudden, like, hey, we're gonna make this the safest, best, most lucrative college football state financially in the land, which is, what we're kind of talking about with Mississippi and this tax exempt status. But you do that and you say, hey, we're gonna pay you Nebraska Cornhusker football money, which is good money, by the way. Their new facilities are like insane. We're going to pay you this money. You're not going to pay any taxes on it. We're going to make March 27th, whatever your name is, day in the state of Nebraska. Like, just go all in. And all of a sudden, you've got these places where, like, yeah, I did. Nebraska's a terrible example because they're a great, respected institution. I did. I went all in. And I'm now, I'm trying to think of a great example. I'm all in on being a Blue Raider for Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah.
Because
or Iowa Hawkeyes. If Iowa can.
Well, but Iowa is a legendary program at least. Like, at least they're good. But right. You take a kid. You don't get as many kids from Miami, Dade County, for Iowa unless you do stuff like that, because they're like, it's what degree in the winter? Oh no, I'm not doing that. It's good football, but it's cold. Say Minnesota, like look at the Gophers. it's really hard for the Minnesota Golden Gophers to recruit in the Southeast because we don't know. I do because I grew up there, but like people here don't understand those temperatures. I was just talking to a buddy on the way to the studio earlier today who had he grew up in Minnesota as well. He lives in Wisconsin now and had just been at a wedding this weekend in Duluth. It was -9 degrees. That's a hard sell unless you start stacking this other stuff. Like,
Yes.
well,
Yeah, $5 million buys a lot of jackets.
it sure does.
That's tax-free.
Yeah.
Well,
And
what
the
kind
money
of
that
tax
you
free
would
though?
say-
Just
What's that?
state? Just state? Because they can't get rid of federal, right?
No, you can't get rid of federal.
Yeah. So I mean, at this point, I looked it up. I'm not trying to rain on parade or anything, but I looked up, but the effective tax rate in Mississippi is 2.53%. So is that enough to say, oh, I'm going to go here in Mississippi?
I mean, it depends. I mean, it depends if
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
if
you know?
you're if you've got 3 scholarship offers and they're from, Boston College, USC, and Ole Miss, or let's say Mississippi State in this scenario, like that becomes meaningful money. The differences between a major, blue state, heavily taxed state. If there's, I think there's 7 states in America who are tax-free, tax-exempt. You want to live in. There's a reason why you want to live in those, even if you're not a college football player. Because again, college football players didn't used to get money, but.
Well, let's go tax loophole then. No tax on tips. What do you say that you're going to sign and go? And it's not a contract I'm signing. It's I'm playing for tips.
There's lots of. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We can have this meeting Friday. I hope it's productive. I hope that that there is some structure put into place because we need structure when it comes to NIL, transfer portal, the windows, when coaches can talk to kids, when they can't, when agents, can, all of that. But life is literally a game of loopholes. Whether you're working in oil, finance, medicine, or college sports, it's all just, okay, you tell me, and this, I mean, literally, this is how I operate too. Like, I rip on people for it, but you tell me what the rules are, and then I'll figure out my way around them. Like that, and that's what's going to happen.
It's very Bill Belichick of you.
It's so easy to do when you have money, power, and influence, and attorney teams and all of this stuff. Like, so they will, regardless of what happens here, it just is going to reset the deck, and then the deck will get shuffled again, without because the genie's not going back in the bottle when it comes to college football and money. There's going to be rules. There needs to be rules. But it's just a matter of time before it's like, okay, well, what do we do about this new problem that everyone figured out?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
Didn't see that one coming.
I mean, but for how long were schools already like giving some shoes and some cars and some stuff? Like they were,
dude,
there was so many things that was illegal, but they were doing it anyway somehow.
it's always been done. I got picked up. We were watching. I think we played Duke that game. I'm watching in my short little stint, failure of a stint in Ann Arbor, and I love the place and I love the school still to death. But I had injuries and issues there, and this is after I'm hurt, and I'm done. I'm not even on the team anymore, and I'm at a basketball game, and again I think we're playing Duke at Chrysler Arena. Walking out, craziness because it's Michigan basketball. It's the arena's full anyways. But 2, you're playing major national, televised game. People everywhere. And I won't mention names, but 2 fellow linebackers pull up. I'm walking with my roomie, who's a player. And window rolls down on a brand new Expedition. You guys need a ride? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jump in. There's monitors in there. There's like this is when Expeditions were new. Actually, I don't remember when they were new. It feels like it's when they were new. They've got the DVD players in there going. They've got all this stuff. It's like, How did you go? Oh, okay. I get it. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. I mean, and they are really good. Both of them went on to get drafted and play in the NFL, had really good careers. One has got a career in other stuff since then. But, like, all that to say, you say that the people have been doing this. The amount of money and stuff that's happened behind the scenes, like, okay, here's the deal. We really want your son to play for us. We can't do this, that, or the other, but what if we paid off your house? Like, I mean, like the amount of, like, it is like, it's insane the amount of stuff that happens behind the scenes, and everyone knows it's happening. It's just, it's like, I mean, I go back to the whole stupid Michigan saga with Connor Stallions. Like, he was stealing signs. Like, ask any coach anywhere in the country at the Division I level or any level, but particularly Division I, and they'll tell you, yeah, like, of course he was. Like, they just got caught, and Ohio State hired a private investigator because they're a bunch of little bitches and made it a thing that really isn't a thing, and they're doing the same thing themselves. So it's like everyone is just, it's always going to be, you can have all these new rules, and then the new things that get broken and the new behind-the-scenes behavior will be established.
That's what I was going to say is right now, everything that's in front of us that we're seeing seems like it's on a scale of 1 to 10 at 100. What's going to be happening behind closed doors now that it's, what are they going to be offering these students extra on top of what's going on?
They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Women.
Stop there.
Yeah. Well, we'll also give you Svetlana.
Yeah.
Very nice blonde girl. She's here for you to take. Go.
I like how now there's a Russian guy doing the deal.
Well, eventually, you're gonna need the Russians and the Saudis. You're gonna need the oligarchs and the Saudis, because these donors, these alumnus who are donating, like, they're gonna run out of money. Like, I can't donate $50 million every year with no return to your program. At a certain point, it's going to be, okay, let's call Igor.
Yeah, well, what's going to happen, though, is they're going to start having college game day live from Saudi Arabia, and there's going to be a game that they go over there so that they can show what they're investing in.
As long as there's college game day.
Yeah.
I like how we jumped from a free expedition to human trafficking.
We did.
We did.
I have a lot of things I want to say there. I'm not going to. Speaking of rules, so Trump and this team, this committee, they're not really a formal committee, but this group of individuals going to meet Friday. Again, we'll talk more about it as the week goes on. But there are some. We talked about the I'm stepping over myself here. The rule for tampering as it pertains to transfers a little bit. I'll touch on it again here in a second. But some of the other proposed NCAA rule changes that are being discussed are now on your screen. I will read them for those of you who are listening, but they're in these 5 categories. Targeting penalty adjustment. A player ejected for targeting for the first time in a season would not, keyword not, automatically miss the first half of the next game, regardless of when the foul occurred. Subsequent ejections would result in progressive penalties, first half suspension for a second offense, full game for a third. This is probably one of the biggest ones, and I will just tell you, this thing better make it through committee. Like this, I think they have failed so bigly on targeting. First of all, what is targeting? Because it sometimes changes depending on the crew. The definition is the definition, but how it's interpreted is tricky. And then you get a player who, if you're not someone who has played or is playing, more importantly playing defense, who's been called for this, there's times where it's obviously targeting. I get it. There's times where it's like, what was this kid supposed to do? He's going full speed. He cannot slow down. And you're calling this targeting, and it happened midway through the third quarter. So now he's going to miss the rest of this game and the first half of the next game, and I think it's peak insanity. There are times where it's clear and obvious what the kid is trying to do. But I would argue most of the time it's like, well, what else could he do in that situation? So I like this. I would still say that it starts with a 15-yard penalty, and then, if you're a repeat offender, it scales up from there. But at least we're taking a step in the right direction here, where it happens in the first quarter or the fourth quarter, you're still not missing the first half of the next game. And then if you're a repeat serial targeter and you're just launching yourself, head first into people, okay, then maybe we've got a problem. And then the second time you miss the first half of the next game and you miss an entire game the next time, that just is way more sensible of an approach than what we've had now, where it's like, is it targeting? Is it not targeting? Who cares? Out for the first half of the next game.
Yeah, they act like they can stop themselves mid-dive. They should have known that they shouldn't have hit him. He was mid-air, flying through the air. He couldn't stop himself.
Right.
The play was dead, but he was already launched.
Yeah.
Personally, as a fan, I have no problem with targeting. I think it should be a 15-yard penalty.
I don't either. Yeah.
I think it should be a personal foul. If you want to take it another step, you get maybe 2 per game before you're ejected, but that has no effect on, the subsequent games. I think when you get into this situation of, as a referee making a judgment call, it puts the whole game into jeopardy. I don't like it. I don't like judgment calls. That's why I don't like figure skating. And you don't get me wrong. I respect figure skaters and what they do out on the ice. But when you have to judge something, I think that's when you start taking away from the actual sport and the competition itself.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think, we continue to pussify the game of football in the name of player safety, and obviously player safety is important. No one's advocating for everyone getting hurt, mangled, and paralyzed. That's not the point. It's a dangerous game, but it's a dangerous game. Like that is a key thing that you need to understand. Like, this is a violent, full speed sport. If it was me, we'd go back to the older rules where it's not an ejection, it's unsportsmanlike conduct. You get 2, then it's an ejection. But I just don't think it's where it needs to be. As I said, I will take this as a step in the right direction, because usually we go from one step of lunacy to another, and you never go backwards. They're suggesting trying this for a year. I will take it. I still don't think the player should be ejected. But I will take that. I will take going, even if it's just incrementally back this way, over going further and further this way. Because eventually it's going to be, you're wearing Guardian caps and you must wear a dress.
Well, then it becomes flag football.
Exactly.
Right.
Look, if you like football and you like hockey, you appreciate and respect the fact that it's a dangerous, violent sport. If it's too much for you, it's if targeting hurts you to your core, you should watch figure skating. There are different sports. You should watch curling. I like both of those, by the way, but it's just a different thing. The speed of the game, the strength. Holy shit, the speed. We're going to talk in a second here. These dudes are running 40 times, faster than Taco Bell runs through my GI system. It is lightning fast. It's crazy. And then the strength now, which we were strong guys back in the day, teammates and I, in terms of this, but the way that strength and conditioning and science and nutrition has evolved. We've turned we've turned these kids into machines. We thought we were machines back then. These kids now are I need your boots, your clothes, and your motorcycle. They're straight up Terminators, man. And then you tell them you've got to stop on a dime and not hit that person because we're scared they might get a little headache. Stop it.
Well, you look at a sport like hockey, charging, boarding, hitting with an elbow or a shoulder, starting a fight with you having a helmet on. I know it's different now because everyone wears a helmet, but you have all these rules that are dangerous for the player who gets hit, and they may get injured, but it's a 5-minute major. And then if it does look like they were out for blood or multiple they're out for the game, and then maybe there's a fine.
Right.
And then if it's multiples, yes, they're going to miss the next 6 games or whatever. Like it's a different, different sport, different mini games, so whatever it is. But they still know that at the end of the day, they're on skates and they can't stop like instantly and know what's going on. The football people need to know the same thing. These guys are running full speed. It's a car collision.
Yeah.
It's happening. You can't stop it from happening.
Yeah.
Give them some grace. Yes, there's a penalty, 15 yards. Awesome. Do it again, watch out.
Yeah.
Hey, number 15, we're watching you.
Yeah.
That's what needs to be happening,
But the object of football is to hurt the other guy.
Yeah.
And dominate the other guy. So if you're going to take that part of the game out of it, then what do you have left? Do you have flag football? You have that Pro Bowl thing that we saw that we were subjected to.
Yeah. Don't like it.
They are just as aggressive in rugby without pads and helmets, and they hit hard and they're bleeding and they're doing all that stuff, and there's targeting, there's things that happen, there's hits that happen in rugby, and the game still goes on and they still play.
They're not hitting as hard as football because you're in football, you're encapsulated, so there's a lot more tackling in rugby where you're like actually muscling somebody to the ground. But when you introduce the element of padding, especially to the helmet, you now have turned yourself into a missile where you can launch yourself at somebody.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's a sport that even doesn't have pads that they hit as hard. Yes, they're a little more tactful with it, but it's still an aggressive sport to watch and to play.
But they're not hitting as hard as football players.
Right.
Yeah.
Football players,
because you can't.
you're gonna kill yourself if you launch yourself the way that professional football players do in rugby.
We can't show it, but there's the world of what's it called? Power slap. There's power slap. But did you see that new video? I don't know if it's even real. Because I don't know what's real.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell what's AI or not AI anymore.
But where they start at opposite ends and run at each other full speed.
Yes, I've seen that. Yes.
Holy crap, that collision. I mean, again, guys, what do you expect here? Like, you're not wearing pads, even if you were. You're going to go to the blue tent after this collision.
Yeah. And you're staring down a Samoan? No, thank you.
No, thank you. I'll just be over here eating Taco Bell, pushing it out. Like, no thanks. I'm not doing it. Sticking with the rules, back to the rules. Very, very distracted today. So they're adjusting, albeit slightly, but in a slight positive direction, or they're proposing adjusting the targeting penalty and the ramifications. Uniform compliance. We saw a lot of Daisy Dukes this past year. I am all for not having to cover your knee completely. I'm all for mobility and speed. I'm all for looking good, because if you look good, you play good. But we saw some things that stretched the line.
He was a
this
kicker,
year.
right? And he had
Well, there's more than the kicker. I think it was Oklahoma. But the kicker obviously got a lot of notoriety for it. But you've seen other players, and things are folded way up. Like, you can almost see a little bit of scrotum. These things are like that high. And the rules committee was like, we should probably put an end to this. Again, I'm not a proponent. I like I am with this country. I'm not a proponent of rules and governing bodies telling me everything to do. But I do think that what they're suggesting kind of makes sense here. Sarkeesian at Texas has already pushed back. She's like, "Oh, we got to manage this now." It's like, well, yeah, you got to manage the program. But they're basically saying that stricter rule requiring players to wear knee to ankle coverings, preventing shorts from being worn above the knee. Violations could result in warnings, 5-yard or 15-yard penalties. So, a couple things. One,
thigh highs.
They're not saying that you can't jack your pants up above your knee. They're saying that basically you need to wear tights in unison with your team. Hey, we're on the road. We're wearing white pants, white tights, these color socks, and these color cleats. Like that, from an aesthetic standpoint, I'm okay with that. Don't make me cover my knee. I think that, Lloyd Carr would. I mean, that's how most programs run things anyway. It's a little different in college than the NFL. The NFL has those exact rules in place now. You wear the same socks. You don't show skin, below. Some people do, and they're just like, I don't care, and they get fined because they're making a shit ton of money. But if you're Michigan, you're like, hey, today we're wearing blue socks or blue tights, maize pants, blue jersey, and the same helmet we wear every time. Like that's it. Like everyone does it that way now, where these are the accents. If you're wearing wristbands, you're wearing maize today. If you're wearing gloves, you're wearing most people already do it that way. So literally the only change is you're wearing tights under your pants that match the color scheme for that particular Saturday or Thursday or whatever.
Can the garter be an accent color, or does that have to be white too?
Whatever you want. Your garter can be you.
Okay,
You just do you.
Gotcha.
But I think that this is I'm sure people disagree. I think it's acceptable. Like, let's make the team and the players look good, and you still get to not have to say your knee pad has to cover your knee. Like, everyone kind of wins from this.
Yeah, I kind of long for the days of like Fred Biletnikoff, where he'd cut his jersey into a V-neck and then put little strings in there. I like that kind of uniform modification. But we're referring to, with the shorts being up really high, I have a huge problem with that. I think if you are going to do that, wearing the tights, I think is an acceptable compromise to it. The thing that really drives me crazy, and it's probably a generational thing, are the amount of mouthpieces hanging off masks.
Yeah.
That to me is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. It's like people who drive around with Mardi Gras beads on their rear view mirror.
Yeah, I got a big problem with that too.
It's
Both.
so dumb.
Well, first of all, no one wears mouthpieces anymore that are in line. Like back in the day, what we had is you got there you I can't think of the word that I'm trying to think of. You come in,
like you're onboarding.
you get, your locker's full of gear, and you've never seen it's the most blissful thing ever. Stacks of shoes, gloves, sweats, t-shirts, like more clothes and shoes than you've ever seen. And then you go and you get them printed for your mouthpiece, molded to your teeth, but it's your color. It's your team's color. And you've got that. There's a lot of things that have gotten better, and there's a lot of things that have gotten lax. And that one is a weird one, Tom, and you're right. Because you'll see a player from Clemson who's orange and white with purple accents with a neon green mouthpiece hanging from their face mask, which, by the way, never goes into their mouth, which used to be a penalty. And I don't care if they enforce stupid shit like that. Like let's major in the majors here, not the minors. Like if a kid's not wearing his mouthpiece, like I don't think that he needs to be flagged. But if we're gonna not, there's got to be some fix there, because that is terrible. Like like think about it. Like it's like become an accessory. Like what color mouthpiece are you gonna hang on your face mask today? Not using your mouth to actually protect your teeth and you from biting your tongue. Like it's weird. It's a weird thing.
It's as weird as wearing a shiesty on a hot day. And you're a receiver or a running back. It's like, what's the point?
Right.
Why would you obstruct anything that helps you breathe?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just, it goes to me. I'm looking at this from a different perspective, because a lot of things that are put into the uniform are built to protect the players. So if the players are deciding, I don't need anything over my knees, so I'm going to raise, my pants up. Okay. So to me, what that says as a fan is, okay, so the collisions aren't nearly as violent anymore as they are. So if you're refusing to protect parts of your body, then what is the game actually turning into? If you have a mouthpiece and you're using it as an accessory, then what's the point of having a mouthpiece? Because the collisions aren't the same. So
yeah. Well, and I think they are. The problem is it's a look, like, again, it's a look and efficiency thing. I remember dating back to high school. I remember FHSAA being real strict about it, checking and making sure, hey, 7, your knee pads need to come down and cover your knee. Okay, cool. I would do it for a play. I would do it in front of them, and then as soon as I get back, I'd jack them up, because I don't like things restricting, knowing that the ramifications are, if this doesn't go well, that kneecap in that case is exposed to maybe taking a helmet which is going to hurt way more than if that thin pad was there. Not that that pad fixes everything. I played catcher growing up without a nut cup.
Whew.
Because I was like, I hate how it feels. I either am going to be good enough to stop this 99% of the time, or I'm not, and my nuts are going to take a fucking baseball to the sack. But, like, I think a lot of people make that decision of, like, do I prefer speed and mobility, and in some cases looks, which also do matter. Again, look good, play good's a thing. Like, you got to have some swagger. Or do I prefer protection? Like, we've all, like, the kid who walks out, like, wearing elbow pads and, like, pants, which are probably loose in that case because they have no swagger. Knee pad, like, the big knee pads covering their knees, the big hip pads coming out of their pants. It's like, I can't relate to those people. But
then, like, let's go back to the mouth guard. I remember seeing last season, the season before, multiple plays, Patrick Mahomes in the NFL, he has the mouth guard hanging out.
He, like, bites half of it.
Yeah, it's like hanging out the half, and he's, he calls the play, and he goes, and it's not even in. So now, if he gets hit and breaks his teeth, like, obviously, to me, it's like you can't sue the league or whatever because you decided not to wear the required, like, there needs to, if you're going to push it, make sure that rule becomes enforced. Because obviously, either if he does get fined, he doesn't care because he makes a crap ton of money.
I wish they would just say, I don't give a shit if you wear a mouthpiece or not.
Yeah.
Just don't have it dangling from your face mask.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I hate seeing it sticking out the side of their mouth or even, dangling down. Like, it's just put it in.
Yeah. All right, speeding through. Transfer portal tampering, we talked about. Coaches, there's all sorts of crazy stuff. Head coach would be prohibited from all football and admin for 6 weeks, 6 games. School will be fined 20% of his football budget, would drop 5 roster spots next season. So there's some stuff that's being talked about that's pretty serious. Roster limits and scholarships. Beginning with this year, roster size will be capped at 105 for football, replacing the old head count scholarship model with a new system that allows all rostered players to be on scholarship. So it used to be 85, and then you might have X amount of walk-ons. You might have 120 kids on your team. Now it's capped, but how you structure that in terms of the money and scholarships is different, and like I just read, all of them can be. And then minor thing here, rules adopted in 2025 that continue to impact the 2026 season include reduced timeouts and extra periods, i.e. overtime, 1 per team in the first and second overtime, and an adoption of upheld instead of stands in terms of phrasing for replay reviews. Who cares? So the big thing is, I know the roster limit part changes. So, like, you get some more scholarship players in theory, but you also lose, and I don't like this, you lose traditional walk-ons and PWOs, preferred walk-ons, with this process, theoretically speaking. And I've talked to some coaches at the D1 level who are like, this is tricky now because I have less roster spots to work with. And I've got to, one, which is not typically the case in college football, become more so recently here, but I've got to cut kids. I got to cut this roster down and make, not just to get to this number, but also to make room for the new kids that we're bringing in. The flip side, the only benefit is you've got some more capability to offer money, whether it's partial or full, to the entire roster where that part's not capped. But, functionally speaking, one, you never know when a walk-on or a preferred walk-on is going to turn out to be a star. We've seen that story so many times. But two, not banking on that. You're not banking on, okay, this third-string quarterback who was a preferred walk-on ended up being a Heisman Trophy, kind of a guy, or someone who just led us to a 10-win season, whatever. It's difficult for practice. Like, you lose when you're talking scout team and giving looks and all of that stuff. Losing upwards of 20 kids is difficult for how you structure things and do things in practice. But that's where we're going. There's good and bad with it. And those are the proposed rule changes that are going to be discussed this spring for the 2026-2027 college football season.
My favorite is the last one that you just read about the upheld and stands.
Yeah.
I guarantee you the person that came up with that is that one person in every group dynamic that always has the worst ideas and they get shit on in the meetings. And finally somebody, and they were like sticking to that one. And somebody was like, you know what? Let's just give it to them and be done with it, so they don't say anything else for the rest of the meeting.
Well, I equate this to, we get in helmet communications and we get 2-minute warnings in college football. And very early on, and you could hear them being corrected by their producer. You couldn't actually hear it, but you could see and experience color commentators and analysts being corrected. No, it's the 2-minute timeout in college. We don't call it the 2-minute warning, which is what it is. It's a 2-minute warning. But someone had that idea and wanted a bullet point for their career growth. So they made sure that in college, no, it's not a 2-minute warning. It's a 2-minute timeout. And you'd hear and anyone who knows football recognizes the last, traditionally growing up watching NFL football, the last 2 minutes of the second and fourth quarters, the 2-minute warning, the end of each half. So all of the people were saying, all right, it's a 2-minute warning. We'll be right back because we get a commercial break because we probably just had a commercial break for an injury or some timeout before that, and we're all pissed because it's happening. But they would correct themselves. I'm so sorry. It's not the 2-minute warning. It's the 2-minute timeout. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsor. Stop it. Who cares? Why are we? Dude, that's the very definition of majoring in the minors.
Yes, that's chick think right there.
Yes.
Whoever came up with it, if it was a chick, it's an overly feminized man that came up with that. And it's like, well, it has to be, the rules are rules. It's different in the college football. And we just can't say that. And you're absolutely right. 2-minute warning adds stakes to what's going on. That's why it's called a 2-minute warning. That's why we count down in sports, because life is so much more exciting when you count down as opposed to counting up. And I've said this until I'm blue in the face. That's one of the things that I really have a hang up with soccer about. I think it would be much more exciting if it counted down. To me, there's nothing more exciting in sports is when you're watching college basketball and they have the clock and it goes into the single digits. And then you have the other, it has the point next to it where it's going,
yep.
Yeah. It's agonizing at that point. I think hockey does the same thing. It's one of the best things in the world. And to me, as a fan, it adds to the stakes, to the seriousness of what's going on at that particular moment in the game, especially if it's a close game. So the more kind of over feminization of words, the word police is just, it is so stupid to me.
Yeah, I agree. It is. Stop it, Brendan. We know you're gay. Just come out and tell us how did you even get a job there? I want a job there and I can't get a job there. All right, last two things that we'll touch on. We'll save, we had another list that we were going to get to. We'll save that for a different day, maybe Thursday. But the NFL cap was just announced this week, and it has increased by another $22 million. It's up to just over $301 million. You can see it there, 301.2 to be specific. But you can see dating back to 2007. And, man, it's crazy. I've seen some other graphs. If you go back and look dating back into the 90s and 80s, I mean, the salary cap now is crazy. You see numbers. You get into the 95s. You get into the 50s. You get into the 45s. You're like, what? How did this even work? And
then one player's salary.
Yeah, that's one player. That's Patrick Mahomes' salary today. Now you see these figures, $301.2 million, and yet there's still teams like my team, the Minnesota Vikings, who've cut 2 players or are about to when the new season opens on March 11th, and have some more work to do to create space. Just wild how much money is in sports. Just crazy.
And you'll never see it go back down. It'll just keep going up.
It went down during COVID, and then it popped right back up.
Yeah, and it's going to keep popping back up because our financial system is based on a fairy tale. It's not based on anything. Right. So once it comes crashing down and we go to the CBDC, then it's good. it seems pretend at this point. It seems like these aren't real figures, but it actually buys real things. So I I just wasn't born with a good genetics lottery. I didn't hit it.
Apparently.
Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't get sick and I don't have any long-term ailments. So in that part, I got, I did win the genetics lottery, but when it comes to be like, 6'5" and being able to run, a 4.3 40, I didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you bring that up. That's a great segue to our last thing. There's so many people. NFL Combine went on this past week in Indianapolis. Always happens there. Lucas Oilfield. And, I mean, there's lots of storylines. Fernando Mendoza did not throw. He was there, but did not throw. He's going to throw, I think, on April 1st at in Bloomington with some of his receivers.
Drew, before you get into the story, I got a quick question for you because I haven't asked you this question, and I'm dying to hear your answer. Okay. As far as the Combine goes, like we've seen with the NFL Draft, do you think it should stay in Indianapolis, or do you think they should move it around? Because it's become more of, a product.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I hadn't thought of it. Like, it's in Indianapolis. Like, the Combine's in Indy. That's what they do. I don't know. I think that there's people who, I get you want to vie for the draft. The draft has become such a big thing. It's a massive party. There's musicians, celebrities, all sorts of stuff that comes in. So you understand why, a city wants to vie for that, and why a city wants to vie for, on a much bigger scale, the Super Bowl, because of all the money that gets poured into that community. Then you're pretty diehard if you care about hosting the Combine. There would be an influx because the amount of people that are coming in, hotels, restaurants, all of that win. Every the same financial impact happens just at scale. I don't know. I've never thought of that, Tom. That's a good question.
Yeah, it becomes another revenue stream at that point.
It's worth competing for. Like, why someone wouldn't, like, if you're particular, it could be anywhere, but particularly you think of Combine, like, you need guaranteed weather and climate conditions. So if you're Minneapolis, Atlanta, New Orleans, Arizona, Los Angeles, some of these teams with roof stadiums or a roof that retracts and whatnot, you would think that why not push for it, because it's just extra revenue. I think the outdoor stadiums, that's tough, because you're never going to win that argument. You can't control the weather, for one, because you're not God, even though everyone thinks they are somehow. But you certainly can't control or predict an entire week's worth of good weather. So it's got to be indoor.
But could it be held like at a convention center or something, like with the size and, like could they put turf down and do something?
I mean, you could.
Yeah. Just, I'm just spitballing like different cities that could take it that don't have a dome.
I'm sure there's conversations happening behind the scenes. I've never dug into that. That's an interesting question, Tom. But I'm sure that, the Vikings and the Falcons and the Saints and some of these teams would love to inject their community with some more cash. But I think at the same time, it's an interesting event. I like it, but I'm in a niche category. It's the least sexy thing in terms of football. Although the performances that we keep seeing now are absolutely insane, because
but it would make it sexy.
It would make it sexy. Yeah. Well, and you could always sexy. I mean, the NFL does a lot of things wrong. I'm not a Roger Goodell guy, but the NFL also does a lot of things right. And they do, like, they've made the draft super cool. Like, there's things they get right, there's things they get wrong. I don't love the whole international thing, although I understand why they do it, and there's some successful points that go along with that. I certainly don't like some of their ideological things that they try and push. But you could turn this into something really cool if you wanted to. That they've just never really gone that next level. But what's crazy is the amount of dudes that ran a sub. Keep in mind, a 4.40 is insane. The amount of dudes that ran a sub 4.40, meaning in the 4.3s at this combine, was staggering. It's like, what the hell? What are people doing these days? I know that I'm wasting my life away, but seeing the discipline, and you look at this guy. So like, this is the guy that I would love for the Vikings to get, and I've said this all year, at least, maybe not on the show, but all year to myself and my family and friends. Kenyon Sadiq, who's a tight end, just an absolute stud at Oregon. Great story too. Just everything about it. Would love to have him on our team. He's a tight end. He's a massive tight end. He's actually an average-sized tight end, comparatively speaking, but a massive human being. He's 6'3", 245 pounds. He ran a 4.3940. They rounded up in this tweet to a 4.3940. Can you imagine think about that. If you're, I don't think there's any way in hell the Vikings get him, but let's just play this out. You've got Justin Jefferson. We already have a good tight end in Big Cock Hawkinson, but you got Justin Jefferson, and think of this as the defensive coordinator. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. That's tricky. Okay, so we're going to have to scheme and double up on these guys and get creative in how we make sure that they don't get him the ball. But you only have, because you got to always be prepared to stop the run. You only have so much to work with. Okay, and then the slot receiver's pretty good. Speedy, whether it's Jordan Naylor or, for a while this past season it was Adam Thielen. Not someone you can't just leave them wide ass open. You got to account for them. And then you take a tight end who's that much more athletic and fast than the linebacker who's going to cover them. And it's like that's game changing. Okay, we got JJ covered, we got Addison covered, JA's covered, we got Speedy covered. Who's going to cover Kenyon Sadiq? Well, about that. We're just going to have to hope and pray that we sack the quarterback before he gets to that progression in his read, because we can't stop something like that. That's a massive freaking tool to have if you've got at least pretty solidly 2 deep receiver room. And this is the NFL, so all the receiver rooms are deep and they're all obviously very talented individuals. But if you're Cincinnati and you've got Chase and Higgins, and then whoever your third guy is, and then Kenyon Sadiq, like, good luck, defense. Like, that's freaking, unless you have no running back and no running game at all, that's a really tricky thing. He is such an asset and a weapon for somebody to get, being that athletic, that fast, and that proven. It's not just, there's some people who you see who are really fast and they're hey, this dude threw up 225 this amount of times at the draft. Like, who cares? Is he good on the field? This dude ran this 40. Like, okay, like we've seen some specialists who are super fast, but they can't catch for shit, or they can't block, whatever the case might be. This is a good player. Like, if you've watched any of the film on Kenyon Sadiq, you know he's a great player. And to be a tight end at that size and running that, and then you see the progression. We don't have the stat or the graphic, but you see his height, weight, speed, high school, height, weight, speed, college, height, weight, speed, NFL combine now, just post Oregon. And the leaps that were made, like, man, I wish I could have made those leaps. I mean, who wouldn't? But you see, it's like he was I think his last 40 time that was posted, not like weeks ago, but like the last point of reference in the one message that was out there, he was a 4.6, which for a tight end, really good. Anyways, it just absolutely insane. I would love, someone's going to get, a lot of people are going to get some really fast dudes. You had Taylon Green, the quarterback from Arkansas, was sub 4.4. You had his running back, his teammate from Arkansas, also that. There was lots of people who hit that mark. But as a weapon, watch this one. Watch this kid, because, man, when you're the 3rd, 4th, 5th down on the progression and you're that kind of an athlete at a position that has great athletes, the tight end position has evolved so much over the years. But man, that I just was blown away by that. Blown away.
I think we should have our own combine when I come back in studio next time, where me, you, and David do the 40. We do vertical leap. We take the Wonderlic test.
It would be so disastrous and yet so beautiful at the same time.
No, but
you can't take a break 10 yards into the 40-yard dash. Just do the whole thing.
But
he's eating a sandwich. He's eating a sandwich.
Back to Kenyon and players like him, I think for the first couple of games or the first half of the season, it's going to be a lot of an adjustment for defensive coordinators trying to figure out how to stop them with that kind of speed. But in the end, I think that players in defensive schemes will make adjustments to it.
They will. It's the NFL. I mean, these guys are all they're 1%ers, man. Like they're the best of the best.
Right. But to me, this just shows the natural progression of human beings, of being able to run faster, to jump higher, it's to me more of the evolution of humans that we're seeing. But it seems like it's coming at a faster pace. No pun intended.
I remember reading an article, almost 20 years ago. It's 16 years ago, something like that, where the NFL was saying that the quarterbacks used to have somewhere around 10 seconds to read their routes and throw it. And at that point in time, now it's down to like 5. I can't imagine what it is now.
Oh, it's
so much less than that. And that's why you see quarterbacks get stuck.
I don't know that it was ever 10. But
well, they were just talking about like the progression of where it came from and how it like way back, and it was probably that, and then it worked its way up to where it at the time it was 5 seconds. And that was 16 years ago when I was reading the article. So now it's shorter than that, probably not by much, but still shorter than that. But that's why you see quarterbacks stuck looking to only one side of the field sometimes because they don't have enough time to react. They're not. By the time the ball's in their hands, the guys are already halfway to the distance to them.
The way that they work through these progressions so fast now, I mean, it is you ram your hands into a man's genitalia, the ball is snapped, and I mean you've got 2-3 seconds tops if you're lucky, to go through all of your. I mean, the speed, the everything about the game has evolved so much.
It's the one thing I love watching because most of the time they show the replays. And I know people who work the EVSs, they slow them down. So you're seeing the replay and they're moving and they're like, oh, look, and then he's looking, there we go. But if you were to play it real time, and they're able to spot on throw it exactly where it needs to go. It shows why they are the top 1%. They're the best of the best because none of us, normal folks, civilians that aren't athletes could react that fast.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Well, I'm looking forward to getting Kenyon in a Vikings uniform.
Are you pushing real hard for that?
Yeah, I'd really like it to happen. And again, I like TJ Hawkinson. He just doesn't run a 4.340 and have a cool name. Actually, he does because again, we call him Big Cock Hawk, which some women in our section behind us named him. So it's not even like a bro dude thing. Like that's.
Which round did the Vikings have?
What do you mean?
This year for the pick for the draft? Where are they at?
They're in every round.
Are they?
We're 18th.
18th in the first.
Yeah.
I know you're every round, but what?
Yeah, we're 18. Yeah, we're 18. All right, folks, been fun. Please hit that like button on the way out. We're so glad to have spent some time with you again. We got some great memes for Thursday so far, and it's just Tuesday, so we'll add some more to it. Send some in if you want. You can always fire them over to producer@redbeachmedia.com. We will look forward to seeing you then. Have a great rest of your day. Be safe, be smart, be free.
We got balls and banter.